Hey everybody, this is Zach Z with Z Squared Gaming, coming at you with another pickup video. I've been hitting some garage sales. Actually, I think a majority of the stuff in this video is going to be from garage sales, so I'll get right into it and let's roll the intro here. Oh, that's right. I'm a new channel and I don't have an intro yet. Well, I'm just going to jump right into it then. So I was scrolling through Facebook, checking out the different sales and such around me. This is back in June, and saw this listing for video games, and they actually showed a picture of what they had. They had some complete in box NES games and Nintendo games, along with some PS2, PS3, and I believe a few PS4 games, all in a big bin. And I actually messaged them trying to get to purchase them beforehand, before the sale even started. They said that they were going to be doing that you would have to actually go to the sale itself. So I did show up the next day. This was on a Thursday, I believe. They started the sale on Thursday. I got there about 15 minutes earlier than what the sale started. I typically don't do that, but I just was interested in those complete in box NES games. If I can, it was kind of grainy, but I will try to actually get a picture up and put it on my palm here, and so you can maybe see what it's going to look like, or what the picture looked like. And so that I was very interested in it, and got there, and there was actually a guy that was grabbing all the NES stuff up and some other stuff, and so I was just a few minutes late, but I still was able to get quite a bit of stuff there at that garage sale. And so I'll talk a little bit more about it after I go through the stuff that I picked up. And so I didn't see any systems in the picture itself, so I was not expecting any systems, but I actually did pick up a couple of systems, so you'll see that. As far as the games go, they actually had some PSP, which I didn't see in the picture either. So we have the greatest hits of Battlefield, Star Wars Battlefield, Renegade Squadron. So sorry, I can't remember what the name of that was. And then we got Call of Duty Roads to Victory, another PSP title. And all these games and such are going into the collection. So SOCOM Tactical Strike. I'll try to get, I think the last couple of videos I didn't get, sometimes was in the kind of those shadows, so I'll try to get a little bit more of the light here. And then getting into PS2, I got Fairly Odd Parents Shadow Showdown. Got a little bit of a damage to the case, but complete in box there. PS3 games, got some pretty good ones here. Ghost Recon Future Soldier. I think I actually needed this one. I think I had like a different version, if I remember correctly. I have like a limited edition or something like that. And then FIFA Street 3, never seen that one before. Needed that one. And then this one is a little bit harder to find, the Naughty Bear. And there's actually, I believe, a gold edition that is a lot more common and easier to find. I actually do have one of those in the collection already, but that was pretty nice to get that. And then Sega Rally Revo was the last PS3 game. I did get one PS4 game. It's a limited edition version. I actually have the original non-limited edition version. And so it's Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I'm not quite sure, I think sometimes the limited editions are like the download codes, so I don't know if they've been used or not. So, and then getting into the actual systems that I mentioned a little bit ago, I actually, like I said, did not see any systems in the picture itself. So I was very surprised to actually see them. I did actually get a complete in-box Ratchet and Clank PSP. I think it might be missing one item, this little everyday shooter thing. I'm not quite sure. Maybe should do a little bit more research into it, if it's an actual something that should be in here, or if it was like just a download code or something like that. It actually looks like just a kind of an insert kind of plastic or kind of thing. So, and then the big thing out of this sale that I was happy to get is a backwards compatible PlayStation 3 complete in box. As you can see, it is the MotorStorm edition, and so I don't think it actually has the MotorStorm, but I can always find that and add that in later. So that was actually a pretty sweet pickup. I actually paid the person. They seemed to be pretty disappointed in what I offered them and had. I actually gave them all the money that I had in my wallet at the time. Like I said, I was not expecting the system, so I was going to be, of course, trying to pay a little bit more for them. And so I actually went back to that same sale 2 days later on Saturday and actually gave them more money. And when I did that, the woman was very happy and surprised that I came back. And then for me doing that, she was grateful. And she said, why don't you go pick out a few more games? Don't think I really needed a whole lot of the games that were left. And that's why, of course, I wasn't getting them at first. But so I did pick up a few more. I can't remember if all these are going into the system or not, or into the collection, I should say. So the Skate 3 was actually empty. She thought maybe it was in my system that I picked up. I haven't actually checked on that, so I suppose that could be completed. I actually already have Skate 3 in my collection as well, so that would just be something to resell. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, the Day 0 edition. I believe I already have that, so that will be for sale. I believe it's WWE Legends of WrestleMania. That will be for resale. And then G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra. I already have that one, so that will be a resale. And then SpongeBob. Which one is this? Battle for Bikini Bottom. It's the Greatest Hits edition. I already have that one as well, too, so that one will be for resale. So, quite a big purchase in regards to that, especially with me going back and giving her some more money. So I actually spent all of this. I was not actually expecting the PSP to be so expensive. I didn't realize it had so much value to it. So that's one of the reasons why I actually went back, and I just didn't feel comfortable with having that lower dollar amount. I picked all that up, and actually a PS4 as well. That one, it was actually, I paid kind of outside of my purchase because they didn't think that it was going to work. So it was actually a PS4. It was I can't remember now. I think it was a original PS4. So it was just like the standard model, but then it was in a slim box. So it was kind of weird anyway. And then the hard drive, I think, is what failed on it. So I'll probably work on trying to get that kind of worked out, and maybe Frankenstein some different systems that I have that aren't working, and see if I can get that to work as well. So like I said, that was outside of this original purchase. This original purchase I actually spent just under $200 for. So we'll cut here, and I'll actually get into the next garage sales that I picked up. So coming up to some pretty good deals and some pretty good grabs. So let's cut to that. So I got everything set up here for my next pickup. This was actually on an ask at a garage sale that was very close to my house, a couple of cities away. So they actually had a Atari plug and play, kind of like one of the newer ones, like a mini version of the Atari, and I saw it out there, and I said, do you guys happen to have anything old, and not just this plug and play thing, but older systems or anything like that? And the woman was like, I have just the box for you. So took her a while to find it. She came out with this box, and I was just blown away with what she had. So started off, I'll start with kind of the lesser kind of value stuff, and kind of course, get to the better stuff. I'm not much into actually collecting Atari stuff, but I do pick it up if I get it in bundles like this. So these are actually all the games that I needed for my collection. I believe I already have the Donkey Kong Jr. I think that's why I have it upside down. But I do need all of these, and then these were the ones that I already had, so those will be for resale. Like I said, I don't really look for Atari stuff, but if I get it in bundles like this, I'll keep it for my collection. And who knows, maybe at some point I'll get the whole Atari set. Atari was actually previous to my collecting days and my video game playing days. I grew up on the original Nintendo, so Atari was, of course, before that. So, and then the other stuff that was in this box was just crazy. She actually had not one, but two Super Nintendos in this box. Of course, you can see this one is actually yellowing quite a bit, and I don't know if you heard it, but this one actually has a rattle to it. I haven't actually tested these yet, so I don't know if they even work. But there's a bunch of course, cords and some controllers to go along with those. So that will be quite a fun little thing to go through here as far as to see if they work or not. Again, I may just kind of Frankenstein them together and make maybe one of them work if both of them don't. But I may actually break down and try to get some of that stuff to fix the yellowing on the console, but we'll see if it works or not anyway, and to see if I want to do that. I do know that some people will get like a bin and then put UV light in it, and then there's some stuff that you can actually buy to put on it to make the yellowing go away, and then you stick it in there and keep it in there for like 24, 48 hours and let it just use the UV to fix that. But as far as the Super Nintendo games that came along with this, this is awesome because I will be actually like double or tripling my Super Nintendo complete in box games as far as the amount that I have. Of course, as you can see behind me, I have a bunch of loose games, but I don't know if you can actually see it. I have a total of 3 complete in box Super Nintendo games at the moment before this pickup here. I will actually start with the loose ones, or at least I should say loose and a manual. So that's pretty awesome as well. So I think pretty much every single game at least has the cart and the manual itself. That was Donkey Kong Country, which I already have the loose game for, so I'll be adding the manual to the collection. And the next one here is Batman Forever. Like I said, it has the manual as well. Next one here is Mortal Kombat, of course with the manual, like I said. Would have been nice to have the actual boxes with them too, but can't complain with what I'm picking up here. So next one here is Super Mario All-Stars Super Mario World. That version does have some issue on the label itself, but I actually already have it in a protector here. This is actually going into the collection. I didn't have this previously. Nice to have a manual for it too. So that's pretty awesome. And then the last one that doesn't have the outer box is Ultraman. So of course, like I said, that one has a manual as well. As you can see, this is in a protected case as well. So that's going into the collection. I did not have that one. All right, and then getting on to the complete in box Super Nintendo games. Like I said, I was just ecstatic about this purchase, and so we'll just go through them real quick here. Kind of start with the lower value ones. Super Caesar's Palace. Let's see, I can't remember all the values of these, but I'll try to kind of work my way up here. Wheel of Fortune Deluxe Edition. These boxes are actually in really good shape. There's just a couple of creases in them, but certainly really nice shape. I think some of them are missing like the inserts and such, so like this one here is kind of moving around. And then let's see here. Don't think this has a ton of value, but it's still pretty cool. Top Gear. I think that one's missing an insert too, so you know, some of these will have will be complete, but they don't have the inserts, unfortunately. Next one here, Bill Lambert's Combat Basketball. I think this one actually has a little bit of value, even though it's a sports game. This one does have a little bit of more damage to it, but still in really good shape. Next one here. This one probably is in the worst shape of all the boxes. It is Street Fighter 2. As you can see, it does have kind of this here, kind of pushing out on the top, but still pretty sweet to grab. And some of these I actually probably already have the loose box or the loose game for, and so I'll be upgrading it with the box itself. Next one here is Battle Clash. think this one actually has the inserts. Yeah. So some pretty sweet ones, but not crazy expensive. Last game here is Paperboy 2, complete in box. Alright, and then the last item here is not actually a game, it's actually just the outer box for the Super Pad for Nintendo, or for Super Nintendo. And so like I said, it's just the box, it doesn't actually have this controller. I did mention that there was controllers in the box itself, but not this particular one, so I'll have to pick this up. And I believe we actually just had a swap this past weekend, and I believe one of the vendors, James, if you are watching this or listening to this, I think actually one of those that I was looking at is this right one, so I'll probably be picking that up. If you haven't sold it yet, I probably will be picking it up from you, so thank you if you can hold that for me. All right, and then I will be moving on to the last couple of scores from the garage sales. This is all from June. I've just been having a pretty crazy June as far as getting some games. Like I said, that was on an ask. I ended up paying $80 for that whole thing, so I should easily make the money back with the systems as long as both of them work. And then everything else will be added for free. Like I said, there's going to be some games that I already had, some loose games that I have now gotten complete in box for, so I'll certainly be kind of building that money back up for furthering the collection itself. So I do have 2 more garage sale finds that I will be going over real quick here, and so I'll get that set up here and we can cut right to that. And I do have the next box of games here that I picked up here in June, and if you guys have come over or listened to my game room tour with Rolling Retro, we did talk about the fact that I do have a sealed copy of Wind Waker, and in fact I actually grabbed it out of my collection. I do have it in the protective case here, and so that of course the seal actually stays pretty good. But I've never played Wind Waker because I wanted to actually play it originally on the GameCube because that's where it came out, before I played it anywhere else. I actually do have it on the Wii U, but I don't want to actually play it there until I've actually played it on the GameCube itself. And finally, I actually did pick up at a garage sale just around the corner from my house a open copy of Wind Waker. So now I can finally get to playing Wind Waker and see what all the buzz is about, and hopefully I'll enjoy it as much as everybody else. But I was able to pick that up at a garage sale. It was the first thing that I hit when I was going out on my sales for the day. It was actually on a Saturday. I believe I had to ask for it. The funny thing about it was that I went to that sale, and as I was walking up to the sale, I was thinking to myself, man, this looks familiar. And I had actually gone to that same garage sale at the same location like previous years. I don't think it was last year, but I think it was like the year before that. Might have even been before COVID. But I, of course, asked at that point when I was going to that sale if they had any video games, and they actually did have some, and they had brought them out, and I believe they were actually the parents or father or something like that of the people that were hosting the garage sale itself. So I did actually end up buying a bunch of NES games from them previously, but this time I was like, you know, I'll check to see if you have anything else that I'm interested in. I looked at a few movies, and then as I was looking through that, they were like, oh, we do have a GameCube, but it doesn't have all the controllers or cords or anything like that. So I was like, oh, I'd be interested, and lo and behold, here was Wind Waker, along with, as you could probably see as I'm talking here, a Super Mario Sunshine, got an Enter the Matrix, and then there was Jedi Outcast, and the Super Monkey Ball Z2, and that one is actually without the game itself. I thought maybe it would have been in the system, but it was not, and so this is the only one that doesn't have the game itself. I would have been really mad if it was the Wind Waker that was empty instead of this, but so that will be really fun to be able to get into Wind Waker. I actually did pick up the system and the power cord. It doesn't have the AV cord or any controllers. So of course I can, complete that with my extras that I picked up over the span of, collecting and going to thrift stores and such. So I have to do a little bit of cleanup on that, but I'm so excited to hit that garage sale and pick up that Wind Waker. So that would be awesome to have the open copy along with the sealed copy in my collection, and then of course be able to play Wind Waker itself. So all right, and so that same day I actually went out, didn't really find too much for the rest of the day until the very last sale that I hit, and they were actually packing up. It was about like 1 o'clock on a Saturday, and I was surprised that they were packing up because that's kind of early on a Saturday. But I got out of the car and said, I see that you guys are packing up. Can I still come and look? And they said, oh, sure, yeah, come on. And, we can certainly look to see what's still out. And then they asked, well, what are you specifically looking for? So to kind of tame it down a little bit, I do sometimes say I'm looking for like media. And I'll say DVDs, CDs, which I actually am for my own collection and for resale. And then I said video games. And they're like, oh, well, we have that box over there. And they pointed, and so of course I was actually happy to hear that they had video games. And so as I was walking up I should say as I was walking over to the video games, they also said everything is half off. So I was like, okay, well, that's interesting, that they'd be having half off on actual video games still sitting out at a garage sale at 1 o'clock on a Saturday. I walk over and I see this box. And as I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but it says 50 cents a game. And that's the box. And as you can see, the box is pretty full. So half off of that is 25 cents. So that was pretty crazy. So as I'm going through it, of course I was wanting to get the 25 cents per game, which is pretty nuts in and itself. As I was looking through them and seeing what was here, I did actually find that some of them did not have any games in them, which was kind of disappointing. But let me go through those real quick here. So nothing too crazy as far as the PS2, but Lord of the Rings, The Sims Busting Out, Sims, and like I said, these are all empty. The games are not in there. Bombad Racing, Crash, Rapid Cortex, Prince of Persia. But then I started getting into GameCube games. Now, like I said, these don't have any games in them, but still, Melee, that's an awesome case to get. I'm sure I'll find a loose copy somewhere along the journey. NASCAR Thunder 2003, and then Mario Party 5. So, of course, I was happy to see this, especially because I knew I actually have a loose copy of Mario Party 5. So, let's complete that here on the video. Grab this out. It's actually in semi-decent condition, but here I am completing the Mario Party 5. So that just added, of course, some crazy expense to this. Now, granted, I pulled these out because they didn't have any games in them. And so I was like, well, these are all empty, so then they're like, oh, okay, well, we'll take care of those. And then later on I asked, well, what are you going to do with the empty cases? And they said, well, we're going to just throw them away because they're empty. I said, well, if you're going to throw them away, is it okay if I take them? I ended up actually paying the person more than what they were asking for, because the rest of this is 25 cents a game. And so it came out to be like 17 bucks or something like that. I think I gave them either 20 or 40, but this is just a crazy pickup for the sale, especially at 1 o'clock on a Saturday. And this was all sitting out the whole day. So there was a few loose games. Spyro on PS1. SpongeBob again, I think that was on the PS1. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone on PS1. A lot of these are actually in pretty bad shape, so I'll have to get them resurfaced. Let's see, Big Race USA, and then Pipe Dreams. Some of them actually aren't worth much, so getting them resurfaced might not be worth it anyways. But then there was one PSP game that was loose, SOCOM. I think these next ones may actually be complete, at least this, yeah. UMD video, Beavis and Butthead. I do actually grab the UMDs if I need them for the collection. This, of course, was going to be 25 cents, but like I said, I paid a little bit more than what they were actually asking. This next one, I can't remember what it is. Oh, it's actually another GameCube game, Soul Calibur, and that one's loose. I think, put it in the case to protect it a little bit further. So the next thing here was actually pretty interesting because it was the same day that I picked up the Wind Waker at the previous garage sale, but there was no Wind Waker in this box, but there was the Ultimate Codes for Wind Waker. So that was just a icing on the cake for my Wind Waker journey for that day. It was just so weird. And then so some more, and that one I of course needed for the collection. This next one, Air Attack 2, I needed for the collection. So nothing crazy here. Hurdy-gurdy needed for the collection. Godai Elementary Force. I apologize if I mispronounced that one. Casper needed that one. And these are actually all complete. There's none that are missing the manuals that I recall. And then the next one that I needed for the collection is Stretch Panic. So again, that one was complete as well too. So this was just a crazy grab at 1 o'clock. So as you, like I was saying, those are all for the collection. So all the rest in this box is actually doubles. And so I do actually have some more GameCube, which is again crazy that this was 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 25 cents because everything was half off. Super Monkey Ball 2, which is funny because I picked up Super Monkey Ball 2 without the game earlier from that other garage sale where Wind Waker was. So just one thing after another with this day. Godzilla, this one's complete as well. So this was just nuts. And then we got Prime, and then Harvest Moon. So that was all the GameCube games. And then the PS2 games, I'll actually grab some of the kind of lesser expensive ones. Of course, gotta save the best for last. So there's Portal Runner, Enter the Matrix, Medal of Honor Frontline, and then Frogger. Next we have Pac-Man World 2, The Adventures of Cookie and Cream. I'd never heard that until just recently. I actually picked up my other copy not too long ago. SSX Tricky, I actually did mention this in the Rolling Retro video that I did with him as far as one of my favorite PS2 games to play growing up. Let's see, Escape from Monkey Island. So we're getting to the good stuff. Got a few more of the lesser known stuff. We got an underground jam pack. Sphinx, a couple sports game, Madden 2001, ESPN 2K5, and then a God of War Greatest Hits. Okay, well, I suppose there's some more with some of the good ones. So, American Idol, Medal of Honor, European Assault, Jak 2, and then Jak and Daxter. And then, let's see, the last stack, we'll actually go with this front one here, Spider-Man. And then I'll actually grab this one, Spider-Man 2. And I'll actually then grab this one, Need for Speed Most Wanted, Motor Mayhem. Kind of, like I said, saving the best for last here. So we got Monsters Inc. And then, so I'll actually put these down. Alright, then the last three here, Prism, Chapter 1, The Dark Unicorn. Don't think I've ever played that, and I thought that was actually worth a little bit more when I was looking at it, but next one here is Maximo. And then the very last one, the best game of the whole lot itself, Klonoa 2. This was just a crazy pickup for 1 o'clock in the afternoon at a garage sale. 25 cents. Like I said, it came out to be about $17 for the ones that actually had the games in them. and then like I said, I paid them almost like double what they were asking. So I think I paid them 40 if I remember correctly. But this is just crazy, crazy pickup. So just nuts. So I do actually have one last kind of thing to go over with you guys. So this is just another thing to add to my June. So I was actually helping out my neighbor by mowing their lawn, and so I do that from time to time. I actually do that for both of my neighbors. If I'm out mowing my lawn, I go out and mow their lawn just to be friendly and not expecting anything in return. But my one neighbor actually knows that I'm a video game collector. Actually, both of them do, but this one knew that I of course are looking for games all the time. He had actually already kind of paid me for helping with snow removal and mowing the lawn previously other years, and so he actually came over one night and gave me, like I said, let me go and get it real quick, so it should be just quick here. Now, like I said, he gave me these for helping him mow his lawn. Now, I think he actually looked them up as far as the amount, but he just, like I said, knows that I'm into video game collecting. He was not interested in these games at all. But the first one here was Magna Carta, Tears of Blood. Now, the unfortunate thing about this is that it has everything but the disc itself, but the game itself. So I was a little disappointed in that, of course, but I'm getting it for free, so I really don't care. But the craziest thing is that the other game that he gave me was God Hand. And this is actually complete. And it looks like it's never even been played. It's in such good condition. So this is now, I believe, the most expensive game in my collection is God Hand. And I got that for free from my neighbor for mowing his lawn. Now, of course, I will be continuing to mow his lawn when the time comes to kind of make up for it. We help each other out. Actually, all three of my neighbors kind of help each other out. We help each other clearing the snow, mowing the lawn, looking out for each other when we're out of town type of thing. So we're just an awesome little community of three or four neighbors here. And we're all pretty young. We're all about the same age. Come to think of it, I might actually be the oldest of the four of us right in a row here. So overly ecstatic to get God Hand. I never thought I'd actually get that, other than having to trade in a bunch of stuff to, get it at like a swap meet or at a video game store, Punch Out Games. That's where I usually go. But it's just, I didn't know what to even say when he brought this over and was giving it to me. So I'll actually end it here. I do actually have a few more games that I picked up during June, but I'm actually going to just leave it here. And the other games are not, crazy. Certainly not as crazy as God Hand, and then some of the other stuff that I picked up. This was actually, I think, the next day after the one that I actually just went through with the 25-cent games. So that was like on a Saturday. My friend came over on that Sunday. So it was just craziness on both Saturday and Sunday. Again, I'm just crazy excited to have this in the collection. Never thought I'd have it, especially this early. But just crazy. So, thank you guys for sticking around and checking out these crazy grabs that I've been having. And I certainly do have some more videos coming, so certainly stick around and take a look at those when you have the chance. I do actually have a few other videos out on the channel already, my other June pickups, and then my introduction to being on YouTube was actually kind of a continuation of the Rolling Retro game room tour that I had, and so it was actually showing my complete unboxed games that I had that I was not showing from the Rolling Retro collection game room tour type of thing. So I'm actually also working on getting some shelves kind of built and put together, so hopefully I'll actually be doing another game room tour, kind of showcasing some of the other stuff that I wasn't able to show previously. For one, my Genesis collection, my Sega Genesis collection, and then kind of just showing off a little bit more of my PS2 collection. Of course, be showcasing the God Hand. So thank you guys and have a good one. Do good and be good.